Hey, what's up, everyone? So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Titans Return Megatron. So unfortunately this is a older figure, so I don't have the packaging on hand right now. I still do have it, but it's in storage somewhere. And as you may know, I have a ton of Transformers and I keep all the packages, instructions, and everything. So it is a huge mess of packages and boxes and stuff. So I don't know exactly where it is right now. But of course you can just look a picture up of Transformers Titans Return Megatron and it will show the box and packaging somewhere on Google. But here he is in his tank mode, so let's take a look at the details and everything, and then we'll take a look at his accessories, and then we'll get to transformation. So first off, let's take a look at the details. So on this side, this figure does have stickers. This is an older figure. They didn't do really much printing. They usually did mostly stickers and some paint, of course. So here we have a really nice Decepticon symbol there, if you can see it, with some red detailing there, some gray, some really nice tread detailing. There is actually wheels. There is 4 wheels on the bottom. We do have some red there, which is a sticker. There is some on top as well, both sides. We do have some red for that hinge area, and more of that tread detailing, and some more gray for the rest of the figure and the back. So it's pretty cool. So really, the sides are light gray, the inside is a more of a darker gray, also as the back as well. On the top, we have some black for the main gun. We have some of that lighter gray for the turret section, and then we have the Titan Master in there. We have some nice transparent orange plastic for the little window shield thing. And we do have some also back here, which will come into play later for the jet mode, which I will transform into next. This is actually a 3-mode Megatron, if you don't believe that. Yeah, it was, when I first got this, I was like, no way, that's crazy, because, you know, we barely ever would get like a 3-mode Megatron if it wasn't, you know, like a movie one, because of course you saw the Bay films, there would be times where Megatron would transform into the tank, and sometimes his jet mode, and, you know, usually we wouldn't get a non-movie one that would do 3 modes, so this is pretty cool. That's about it for the details. On the bottom, here is all the details you can see. This mostly comes into play for the robot mode. You can probably already tell there's a few things poking out, like the chest and the waist section. But let's take a look at the accessories and his Titan Master. So here is the Titan Master. He is very plain, really just some red and some gray for the arms and legs, and that's about it. He does, of course, have Megatron's head upside down, which we will just take a look at right now, because it's already in our hands. So if you just fold it up, here is, I'm going to try and hold it good. Here we go. Here is Megatron's head. I'm going to try and, you know, put the tank out of the way so you can see the details of the head better. Here is the Megatron head with mostly gray for the face and some red for the eyes. On the side, mostly gray really, and some detailing. On the back, more gray of course, but on the top there is that hinge that is red, which comes into play for the Titan Master, which becomes really his legs and his stomach and chest. And there is the Titan Master, so let's take a look at the weapon. So we do have this turret piece here, which is pretty cool. This is really mostly meant to be his main ion cannon that we know and love for Megatron. He does come with another cannon, which we'll take a look at in just a second, and it is pretty cool. So you can port this in many places. There is a port there, there is one on the other side, but of course for the tank, you have to have the main barrel, which is right here. Just plugs into place. And the other gun is this one right here. And it is pretty cool, pretty simple, really just gray. And you can port this on top of here if you want to, or you can again port those into those 2 ports on the side. And if you want to, there is some more storage for the Titan Master. If you don't want to put it in the typical spot that I showed earlier, you can plug it into this seat right here. So there is a notch inside, and there is that little notch there, and that will just go right into place. And that can peg on top if you wish. So that's pretty cool. I think the tank mode is probably the weakest of these 3 modes. I think it is a pretty good mode in general. Let's get into the cons in just a second. So that's really it for weapons. And the Titan Master, he's really in there. Let's get into articulation. I'm just going to put the extra gun off to the side. I'm just going to do the articulation in the standard form for the tank. So for the standard tank, you can rotate the turret all the way around. There is a hinge that can rotate back, so if you do want the turret further back, you can, but it will reveal some kibble, but it is your toy, so you can do whatever you wish. That is really it for articulation. The con really is that sometimes the front section does not peg in so well. Sometimes you can tell on the bottom it is pegged in pretty good right now. Sometimes it's not too flat, but it does roll pretty well. You just kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit to be in the perfect position how it is right now. But overall, it's a pretty good tank. Rolls well. Like the stickers, the detail's really good. I like how you can store the Titan Master in the little seat there for the turret. I always really like the storage for the Titan Masters and Titan's Return. It's such a great gimmick. I really like it. So let's get into transformation to the jet mode. So first, you are just going to take the barrel off, put that little piece down, and now you can go on the side, disconnect these little wing pieces, and then you will go here, bring these sections out, and then you can do that. And then you can disconnect this little arm here. There we go. And how that is connected is there is the hand, there is that peg, and that's how that's connected. And then you can kind of wiggle it off on the other side, of course. And then you can bring the turret section up so it will allow clearance for this. But first you can bring this little panel all the way down like that. Then you can bring this section right here out, which will allow you to move this section in just a second. So these you will move all the way around like that. Do the same thing on the other side, and we'll tab those in just a second. So now you can bring this whole section forward like that. So now there's these wing pieces you will bring forward like that. The section will tab into this flap, as you can see right there. You can bring this flap down. I'll show it on the other side if you didn't see it too good on this. So there is a tab on this piece, there is a slot right there, there is a tab on this little piece right there, and that will all clip into place. Just gotta align it, and there you go. Then you can bring this flap down, and then you can go under, kind of start neatening everything up. You can bring this whole turret section down and in, and then you can get the arms. You can bring this panel in, and there is a slot right there and a peg right there, and that will just port into place like that. Do the same thing on the other side, neatening everything up. So unfortunately on my copy, it could just be my copy, I don't know, but it doesn't always want to peg into place on this side, but it does on this side. So at least it is one side. It would be more annoying if it was none of them, you know. Now we're almost done. You can just lift this section up. You can bring this nose cone piece down, and there is the jet mode fully complete. Of course, none of the weapons are on it, and the Titan Master is not inside it, but we'll go over that after we look at the details. So here is the jet, and I think it looks really good. Let's take a look at it. So we do have some transparent plastic for the cockpit section. We do have some gray for the main front part of the jet. We do have some stickers there, which mostly come into play for the robot mode. We do have some really nice red stickers on the wings there, which do look pretty good. I do have to say that I've had this figure for quite a long time, and the stickers have held up pretty well. None of them have fallen off. A few of them have started to, wrinkle up, as you can see on that one, but it's not too bad. It's still staying on there pretty good, which is good. And then for the back section, we do have some red there, some black, and rest is really light gray and dark gray. On the side, we have some black. That same tread detailing from the tank earlier is visible, and we do have that red wheel from earlier and some more gray and black. And on the bottom, we do have the turret, and I actually kind of like how it's visible, because this does come into play in two ways. So there are three little sculpted-in wheels there, as you can see right there, and it does help it stand. They are not actual wheels. It does not actually roll. You can, of course, roll it yourself if you want to, but it is nice how they sculpted in there. I kind of wish they were actual wheels, but it does make sense why they are not, because they would have real wheels in the tank mode, and that would be kind of weird where the turret is, you know, so it does make sense, but it is a kind of nice little sculpted in wheel detail there. The other way this can come into play is you can, if you want to, you can store the weapon on there, and you can just port that into place like that, and that can just store under there, so you can have your own little turrets underneath the jet, and I think that's pretty cool. It is kind of limited with articulation for the turret because these are blocking it, but it's not the worst. So that is pretty cool. That is one way you can store one of the guns. Another way is there is a port right here under the seat for the Tankmaster. You can just plug that into place if you want to. Of course, that you could do it with this one. There are two little pegs there that can port into that. So if you want to do that, that looks pretty cool. And another way you can attach the weapons, let's just take them off both. There we go. And go to the top side of it. You can connect these two together, which I just dropped one of them. You can connect these two together. You just tab them together like that, and you will just tab it. There are two sections you can actually connect to. There's a section there and a section there, and there's a clip on the bottom of the weapon, so you can just clip that into place in the back one, or you can do it in the closer one to the front, which I will show in just a second. That is the back one, and now we can show the front one, which is this one. So that's about it for really weapon storage. You could probably come up with some other ways where you can store it. You could put on these little pegs here if you wanted to. Tons of ways, which is really, really cool. And now you can also store the Tankmaster. So you will just lift this section up. So you can have his hands out, but it is hard to open the compartment again if you have the arms out, because it will kind of get stuck in that section. So I typically really just have them down, because then it won't be hard to get him out. So I just have them down and just close that up. And that's where you store the Tankmaster, and I think that looks pretty cool, because you can actually see him inside of there, and that looks pretty cool. So now, I guess, let's get to transformation. If you're wondering articulation, there really is none. You can, I guess, move the wings up and down. There is a hinge there, and a hinge there, and there's another hinge right there. So there's 3 hinges for the wings. If you want to move them around, yeah, that's really it. There are these flaps back here that can move. That's about it. So let's get into transformation to the robot mode, the final mode. So what you're going to do is, first, of course, take the Tankmaster out. So that would be awkward if I lifted in there. Then you can fold this in and collapse that. Then you can bring these panels up, just like that. Then you can extend the arms out, just like that. And then you can bring this whole turret section out, like that. Then you can bring the wings out, and you can untab these sections here so they will loosen this whole rotating section. And then you can bring this section in like that. And then what you're going to want to do is, there's that tab there, there's a slot there, and then you want to rotate this whole section forward like that. So these can be up higher like that, and those will just tap into place like that. And then you'll get this turret section. You can bring that up and collapse it into place, and then you will bring this whole chest section forward. But before you do that, there is this little kind of a cool lever function. There is these 2 pieces right here. You just pull that lever, and they get popped up, which is pretty cool. I'll show you again because it happens very fast. You just pull that lever, those pop up, and that is pretty cool. And then you will just put that little chest piece up. And now you can go back here, bring this section in, fold that, fold this little panel in, and do the same thing on the other side. So fold it like that, fold this piece in, and collapse it like that. Then collapse that, bring it up, just like that. With these panels, you can really put them wherever you want, doesn't matter. I usually just kind of keep them up on the leg. And now for the arms, you would just bring these panels in, bring it, there is a tab there and tab there. Those will just peg right into place like that. And then you can rotate at that swivel, bring that in, do the same thing on the other side, bring that in. Almost done, now just the legs, so you will just untab the legs, go back here, there is a panel on both legs, fold that, and then there is the foot in there, bring that out, collapse this panel in, do the same thing on the other side, fold out the leg, fold out the foot, collapse that in. There are the legs all done. Unfortunately, sometimes it is kind of annoying to position this guy. He's sometimes uneven when standing, but there you go. And then you can, of course, get the last piece of the puzzle, just fold that up, and then there is a little clip system there, and that will just clip right into place to form the mighty Megatron. And that looks really, really, really cool. So this is, of course, without his accessories, which we will give him to in just a second. I want to look at the details and then go over the articulation, because if I put them on now, they might fall off and get in the way. So, details. His legs look pretty good. We have some red for the knees. We do have some black for the legs and some gray for the feet. On the side, we have mostly just some dark gray and a little bit of light right there. On the inside, same, really just dark gray. Top of the legs, we have some of that creamy gray, bright gray, and the same for the top of the legs. And the waist is mostly just black. The stomach area, we have some red and some orange and gray. And for the chest, we have some nice stickering little wiring detail and a Decepticon symbol, if you want to see that there. For the arms, we have some black for the hands, some gray, some of that tread detailing from earlier is still visible, some more of that red, gray, and black for the shoulders, and that, of course, is for both arms. And now, we already took a look at the head sculpt, so that's about it. For the back, nothing crazy. We still have those wings visible and that turret section, and I think that's okay, because of course the G1 Megatron had that kind of barrel sticking out on his back. I think that's pretty cool that they continue that here, even though it is a very different mold and model of Megatron. So that's about it for the details, so let's get into articulation. So I highly suggest to go back here, bring the wings back so you don't bump them or anything. They might get in the way, so I might have to move them in just a second. So for the arms, they can go all the way up like that. They can rotate that far back, this far forward, and they can swivel at this all the way around. Sometimes it kind of gets in the way. There you go. No hand articulation at all, unfortunately. For the head, if you want to, there is barely any articulation with these pieces here. If you want more articulation, open this panel up. You can bring these sections down, and then it can rotate all the way around if you want to. And of course, to bring those things back, you just pull that lever, and then close that up. So of course, same articulation for this. The wings, you can really do whatever you want with these. The standard way is really just kind of have them folded up like that. You can do a bunch of stuff with that. I will show that off in just a second. For lower half of the body, no waist articulation, unfortunately. For the legs, they can kick forward that far, kick back that far, and the knee can bend that far. And then there is a swivel, which can swivel all the way around. No ankle pivot, unfortunately. We're very used to that these days, but none for this figure, which is okay. I mean, this is an older figure, so it's to be expected. So for the wings, you can really do whatever you want. This is the standard Megatron look. I will show the wings in just a second. I just want to add the accessories to him to show you what he looks like with his typical cannon. So this is how I typically like to have him. Have his cannon like that, and I like to have him hold this one. I think that looks pretty cool. have the typical cannon on his arm, and then have him holding one. I think that looks pretty cool. Or you could have, of course, this gray cannon on his arm as well, so he can shoot the Autobots down, blast them and stuff, and it's pretty cool. Of course, you can have him hold this one as well, both holding them. Just take that out, have them both holding them, and I think that's pretty cool. So, one last thing you can do if you want to, just take both of the weapons out of his hands. You can, of course, combine them and have him hold them. Like I showed earlier, just peg these into place, and you can have him carrying it like this, and kind of having like a super cannon if you want to. Sometimes he's a little annoying to position to stand, so sorry about messing with him a bunch, but I think that looks pretty cool. And with the wings, if you want to have him some kind of like flight Megatron or something, you could fold out the wings completely, you know, and spread them out, you know, and have him like flying if you wanted to. Some people like might cringe by that. They're like, oh, I don't want that, I don't want that. I think it looks kind of cool. Kind of like a flight Megatron or something. I don't know. You could angle him back, have more of the seeker look if you wanted to. You don't see him super well on camera and hand, you could see it better, but if you want to see it from the side, that's what it would look like. Or that side, that's more flattering because he has the cannon right pointed at you. But that looks pretty cool. So, I think that's it for this review. I think all three modes are pretty good. The tank mode probably is the weakest of the modes, of course. Sometimes it does tend to be hard to have it flat and how it should be. But overall, I think it's pretty good. You just gotta fiddle with it a little bit. The jet mode is pretty good. I love the stickers. They've held up pretty well. The paint, all the details are really, really nice. I love how you can store the Titan Master in the jet cockpit and the turret station area. The robot mode, of course, is my favorite. Really like the two accessories. I like how you can do a lot of stuff with the wings and stuff. Really like the stickers on the wings. The articulation's pretty good. No hand articulation, which is a bummer. I kind of wish maybe you could swivel the hands a little bit, maybe do some more dynamic poses. But overall, I think it's pretty good articulation. Tell me what you think of this figure in the comment section below. I highly suggest, if you ever find it, definitely try to get it. It's not really like, I don't think you'll ever find it at like a Target or a Walmart or anything, but you most likely can be able to find it on an eBay or a small store, maybe online, or in person. I don't know. I haven't, needed to look for it in a while because I already have it, but yeah, look around, you might be able to find it. I'm not sure for how much. It's a pretty good figure, so definitely try and find it, and I think that's it, so I'll see you next time.